Hello guys, Barry here. I'm back. In this episode, I'll show you how to remix the new Thor hammer from the movie Lava Thunder with UE5. First, we need some assets, some models, the hammer head, the broken hammer head, some small broken pieces of the head, and the hammer handle. Two particles, a trio, and an explosion. Also some sound effects, such as swoosh, iron hit sound, flyby whoosh, explosion or scatter, collecting. Okay, next, let's create 4 blueprints. We name BP Mjolnir, Projectile, BP small part projectile, and grab a third-person blueprint template. 3 animations: throwing, charging, and gout. Let's begin with the small part projectile. We need to create a vector variable and a static mesh as the root component, and a trio Niagara system. Projectile movement with the projectile gravity scale to 0. Drag and set the velocity of projectile movement at the event begin play. Open the construction script. Drag the static mesh and set the static mesh. Add a random integer in range. Connect it to the select node with 3 operations. Set the operation with small broken pieces of head mesh. Set the component scale with a random float in range. For the BP Mjolnir projectile, add 3 static mesh components, a synth component, and a projectile movement, also with gravity scale 0. Check the rotation follows velocity. The first mesh is hammer handle, second is hammer head, third is broken hammer head. The spawn location is at the location of the missing part of the hammer. Set the velocity as we just did. Create another 4 variables. 2 boolean, charged, head scatters, a BP small part projectile type variable, array, and a BP Mjolnir type variable. Make the charged and the Mjolnir exposed on spawn. Intense editable. Create a scatter event. If not has scatters, clear the array and place sound at the spawn location. Set the static mesh invisible. Spawn the explosion particle at the spawn location. I'll spawn about 20 scatters. Set the velocity. With this function, we will spawn them with a random direction in cone and speed 1600. Don't forget to set has scatter when complete. Be callback event. I create a timeline to control the comeback speed and transform. Set this blueprint hide in game. If has scatters, call scatter back. Then play collecting sound at the location. If not have, then destroy this actor. Call scatter back event. Play timeline from start. Connect it to for each loop. If scatter valid, set the projectile movement inactive. Then set the scatter transform with timeline. Here I use a random point inbound box to spawn a random transform with the spawn location, so scatter don't have to get back in one point, but in a box area at the missing part. Then complete. Delay 1 second. Destroy this actor and scatters. For the first timeline, it's just 2 keys with time 0 value 0 and time 1 value 1. You can adjust this curve as you wish. The second timeline is the same like the first one. For the BP Mjolnir, duplicate from BP Mjolnir projectile. Add an explosion Niagara and swoosh sound audio component. Remove the projectile movement. Add a rotating movement. Uncheck the auto active of Niagara and Edu. Set the rotation rate to 1080. Adjust the pivot translation. Active time is perfect for me. Since I'm using a static mesh, I use this component to simulate the hammer swinging along the west when charging. We need to create 5 events. First one, charging. Second one, throwed. Third one, be called back. Fourth, collecting. Fifth, collect. For the third-person character blueprint, add a child actor component to mesh. Set the class as BP Mjolnir. Create 3 variables. A BP Mjolnir projectile type. And 2 boolean named charged and throwed. Now let's leave the events aside and think about what we want. I create 3 modes of the hammer. First one, throwing out and callback. Second, charging then throwing out and callback. Third, charging, throwing out, scatter, then call the pieces back and put them together as one hammer. We need to create 2 custom events. First one, throw, and second one spawn projectile. Add 2 action mappings. Throw with left mouse button. Callback with right mouse button. When action throw pressed. If throwed is true, check if it's charged. True. Get the Mjolnir projectile and execute scatter event. Then get the child actor. Read the value of variable. Then pure cast it to BP Mjolnir. Set the head scatter to true. Add a gate node. Connect it enter with the event take. Throw the force with open. Throw released with closed. Exit. Get player controller and get input key time down. If the time is greater than 1 second, Set the charged true, and connect a sequence node. Connect it with the gate toggle. And connect it with the through event. If it's not greater and equal to 1 second, set the charged to false and connect it to through. With this part, if we press the left mouse button more than 1 second, the Mjolnir will be charged. If it's less than 1 second, it won't be charged. For the throw event, get the Mjolnir projectile if it is valid. Retriggerable delay. Then check if the charged is true or false. If true, get a Mjolnir actor. Trigger the charging event and play the charging montage. Delay about 2 seconds. Stop the montage. Then executes the throwed event. Spawn projectile event. Then reset the throwed to true. If not charged, play the throw montage and execute throwed. Spawn project event. Check if throwed is true. If it's not being throwed, get the child actor word transform and spawn actor BP Mjolnir projectile. Set the velocity with composite component forward vector and multiply it to 800. Set the charge with Boolean charged and Mjolnir object reference with child actor. Set the Mjolnir projectile and get its root component word location and play the flyby whoosh at the location. If the action callback pressed, valid gets the Mjolnir projectile. If it's valid, play callback montage. Uncomplete. Execute Mjolnir projectile. Be called back event and get the has scatters. Set the child actor has scatter with it. Then execute be called back. Reset the charge to false. Set the Mjolnir projectile to none. Set throwed to false. Now let's have a look at the final effect. When I press the left mouse button less than 1 second, then the right mouse button, then holding the left mouse button. About 2 seconds later, it's rolled out. If I press the left mouse button again, then the right mouse button. I holding the left mouse button. I don't press it again. Then I press the right mouse button. Okay, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. If you like my video, please subscribe and like. I will consider about publishing more tutorials.